welcome to Coaching Conversations with me, Steve Crabb, and Marie Taylor.
Hello everyone.
The topic of conversation today is what to do when a client asks for something specific and you get a sense as a coach that it's not really the best thing for them. So it's the distinction between what they need and what they want. Okay, Marie, so the question really is, you have a client who knows what they want, and as a coach you get a sense that what they want isn't really going to be the best thing to serve them. Let's talk about that. What's your view on that?
I think it happens at both the individual level and the organisational level. So it might be easy for me to talk about an organisational example because there are different facets, but let's think about that. So I think very often, whether it's an individual or an organisation, people are trying to solve a problem, a perceived problem. Something needs resolving, either because somebody needs to deliver an outcome, the organisation needs to deliver an outcome, someone needs to improve performance, or there's something underlying the request. And if we just take what the client gives us in terms of, this is what we want, it's almost like it's a transactional piece of contracting. Do you see? It's almost like, I want this, can you give it to me? Yes, I can. So we're almost going back into, a bit like we said in one of the first videos, we're going back into transactional selling and contracting. Whereas actually, it's worthy of exploration. It's worth a conversation to look at, okay, let's understand what you say you want and why you want it. Because sometimes in having that conversation, there's an even better solution or an even better way of looking at how they're perceiving the problem.
Yeah.
So an example of that would be a piece of work that I did once with a financial services organisation. I used to do a lot of work with this organisation around career coaching, their individual people, but also I did some programmes for them around career coaching in the organisation. And their director of HR asked me if I would help them to develop a coaching programme. And the coaching programme was to train 10 coaches across their UK operation to work with 100 of their high potential managers. So the idea was, we need these 10 coaches to be trained up as coaches, and we have because they're going to work with these 100 managers who we want to support as high potentials during a 2-year programme. On the face of it, sounds, okay, job done.
Sounds really simple.
Yeah, simple.
Someone's worked it out for you.
Yeah, great. So all I need to do is turn up and deliver. And I would never do that, of course. So my conversation with her was around, so what are you actually trying to do? What are you trying to achieve here? And it was about, helping these 100 managers become more efficient, effective, manage their careers more impactfully, and become impactful managers. And I said, okay, that's great. So tell me about the 10 coaches, 10 potential people you want me to train as coaches. And she said, well, they're great. They're all HR people. We're looking to expand their portfolio. We want to train them up so that they can do this job internally. They'll eventually become internal coaches. We see a large part of their work being with these 100 managers. Okay, so tell me about the profile of your 100 managers. Well, on average, about 8-9 years service. Company people, we want to retain them. They're people who we've promoted quite a little bit in the last 3 years, and we want to keep them engaged, but also make sure they stay with us for another 10. Okay. Average age, 35, 40. Right, great. So tell me about your 10 people that you'd like me to train as coaches. Well, they're fabulous, enthusiastic, they're young, vibrant, blah, blah. Great. What kind of average age? 25, 30, great. How much experience in the business? Oh, on average 3 or 4 years. Right, okay. So let me just sit you for a minute. This is exactly how I did it. Let me just sit you in for a minute in the position of one of these high potential managers. And I'm a high potential manager, you're a high potential manager, and we're having a conversation and thinking about, do I want to take part in this coaching or not? What's going to draw me towards the coaching? As a high potential manager, I want to learn from other people who've been high potential managers. I want a sense of being supported in the organisation to get that, And I also want a sense of having an individualised thing for me, something that's about me and for me. Question is, am I going to go towards a HR person who's been with the organisation 3 or 4 years, just trained as a coach, or in training, which they would be, as a coach, and who, with the best will in the world, and I say this as somebody who worked in HR for a long time, is from HR. Am I going to go towards that? And she said, yes, but you see, I've got 2 objectives to fulfil, Marie. I've got to manage these high potential groups, and I've got to do something to develop my people, because they really want coach training. And I simply said, they're 2 different issues. They're 2 different issues. And you might tick the box of getting these 2 tasks done, and off done, objective, done. But will they fulfil what the organisation's really trying to do here? And really all I did was work with her to help her to see you're not going to get a happy outcome, potentially. You could potentially create a bigger problem. And you could also find that you train these people, that's great, you can tick that box. You can say you've got the coaches for this group of managers, 100 managers, but actually will they feel that that's a solution for them? Anyway, upshot was that we ended up helping them to put a mentoring programme in place, an internal mentoring scheme in place, where they were the high potentials were learning from more experienced people who were trained to be mentors. They still train their 10 HR people to do coaching, but at a different level
a couple of
in
things
the organisation.
that popped up in my mind as you've been talking about that. One is you've got clarity around what will make the difference for the client. So you've not just gone in there and accepted the brief that's been given.
No.
You've been willing to ask the questions and been willing to actually, I guess, even demonstrate coaching by that inquiry.
Yes.
So they see the value of having you in as a coach.
Yeah.
So I think there's quite a few other topics around that subject we can explore later. So,
Absolutely.
thank you for that. Yeah, some great insights. So if you've got any other questions around this particular subject, you can always email us. The email addresses will come along at the end of this recording, or you can contact us on the LinkedIn page, Business Coaching and Mentoring. And you can join us for the next topic of conversation. We're going to talk about how to prepare for a coaching and mentoring session. So until then, keep coaching.
Bye-bye.